Well, as I mentioned earlier today, Congressman Mike Gallagher, chairman of the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party, hosted a roundtable discussion on Capitol Hill regarding the Chinese Communist Party's threat to religious freedom. I spoke at the roundtable along with FRC Senior Fellow for International Religious Freedom, Bob Fu, and also the current chair and co-chair of the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, along with others, were a part of the roundtable. Now, while the details of the Chinese Communist Party's religious persecution remain shocking every time I hear them, there is no denying that American companies and American consumers are facilitating the communist regime in these efforts by buying their cheap products. Joining me now to discuss this is Travis Weber, Vice President of Policy and Government Affairs here at the Family Research Council. Travis, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Thank you, Tony.
All right, let me just jump into this real quick. What stood out to you from today's roundtable discussion at the Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party?
Yeah, I think it was very clear there was a unified effort to deal with the clear religious freedom violations in China. You had representatives of different faiths there, clear representation from the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, leaders like yourself, and the chair, Mike Gallagher, of this new Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party that was started, earlier this year. So, Tony, it clearly sent a signal that we recognize the threat posed by China. We recognize the threat posed by religious freedom violations in China. Moreover, it was significant that at the close, Congressman Gallagher prayed for the Lord's guidance, as we noted in the word for today in Luke 5. We need the Lord's leadership to help liberate the captives. That here there's the gospel presentation in Luke 5, but in this case, we're talking about liberation of people who were oppressed in China. The Uyghurs suffering a genocide, house church Christians. We in America need to do it, and it's significant the Congressman was seeking the Lord's guidance in that. So I think that's something we can all press into and be seeking the Lord ourselves and how we can play a part.
And of course, Congress looking for a possible policy solutions here. And one of the things that came out of the roundtable discussion is that this is not something that's going to be solved overnight. It didn't happen overnight. This has been decades in the making. Yep. In part, I pointed out to the fact that back in 2000, when the Chinese government was given permanent most favored nation status, which is a trade status that allowed them to get into the World Trade Organization, that normalized trade. That has created a greater trade imbalance. Not only have we lost jobs, manufacturing jobs here in the United States, but it's enriched them, yep, and it's corrupted the moral climate of American corporations that are utilizing, in many cases, forced labor in China to make cheap products to bring back here to sell to American consumers. It's
corrupted us. We've almost driven down this road towards corruption, and we've fueled their ability and really supercharged their ability to violate the rights of their people. Because you need resources, you need money to engage in the massive technologically driven control they're exercising over their citizens. It's a topic that was discussed as well today, the ability to monitor and implement social credit regimes.
Right.
With religious freedom in the mix on this. They're controlling anything a threat to the state's power. And now, because of the road the United States has been on, as you pointed out, we've enabled them to be in a stronger position to do that. This is unfortunate, and we have to use the position we have left at this point, Tony, in this country to exert moral clarity, to proclaim moral clarity around the world. And that's something that's increasingly under threat. We're not doing that in every area, and we need to do it here.
We've got to prioritize it. Travis Weber, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.